Mic check, 1, 2. Mic check, 1, 2. Hopefully you all can hear me. Welcome everyone to another Sunday night live stream. Tonight is Sunday, June 15th. At least it is for me here in Chicago, Illinois. Andre says loud and clear. Thank you so much. Welcome everyone. Welcome to another accountability live stream. If you're unfamiliar with how this live stream works, this is a good place to share what your progress is like, where you're at on your fasting journey, on your health and wellness journey. But we're going to get into it. So before I begin, Aisha, Joy, I don't know why I'm counting with my fingers, Shauna, Spike, Lori, Wanda, Zaida, A. Am I missing anyone else? Welcome. Nice to see you all. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you all. So today I want to talk about, and this is a topic that is starting to become very near and dear to me, is to start talking about how not to only lose weight, but to keep the weight off as you are on your journey. Universal Being, nice to see you. I see you in the chat as well. Welcome all. So again, I think many of us know how to lose the weight. It isn't rocket science. I was just saying this earlier. It doesn't take a lot to know that eating better, moving more, taking time away from food will net you success when it comes to losing weight. The hard part for many of us is keeping it off and gaining it back. And for some of us, not only gaining it back, but gaining it back and then some. If that is a situation that you've been in, if this is something that you are struggling with, I want to be able to talk about that today. I want to be able to have a conversation about, first of all, working on getting into the structure of losing weight, talking about the basics, talking about how to deal with certain things, but to also get into the weeds about how when you do lose weight, how can you make sure that you can keep yourself there? So let's start. Let's just dig right into it. I think the biggest part about this is when it comes to losing weight, whether you are doing it through fasting, whether you are doing it through healthier eating, whether you're doing it with the accompaniment of exercise and better sleep. Hopefully it's a combination of all of these things. But I really do think that in order to achieve this and to have it sustainable is by doing it imperfectly. You hear me say this all the time. You hear me talk about this time and time again. But if you are looking for success in what you're doing, you have to do it imperfectly. It doesn't mean that you cannot strive for doing some things in an aggressive manner. It doesn't mean that you can't push if you want to push. I always say this. If you want to push along fast, go push along fast. You want to get a 90-hour fast under your belt? Be my guest. If you can happily and healthily do so, go for it, right? That is the way I see it. But you also have to eventually understand and realize that when you are not doing something in that perfect manner that you are thinking about, when you are not on your game 110%, then you have to be okay with imperfection. If you want sustainable, consistent weight loss that you will not put back on, you have to accept imperfection. I'll say it one more time for the people in the back. If you want sustainable, consistent weight loss, you have to be able to accept imperfection. You have to get out of the all or nothing mindset. If anybody understands what this all or nothing mindset is about and how detrimental it can be, you're looking right at him. Here's the thing about it being detrimental. Yes, it's detrimental in the sense that when you are thinking in an all or nothing type way, you are either going all out or you are doing nothing at all. The reason it's detrimental is because when you get to the nothing part, when you decide that it wasn't good enough, that you didn't give your all, you find yourself cycling into this place of, okay, I'm going to start tomorrow. I'm going to start on Monday. Here we are, Sunday evening, and many of you who might be watching this might be telling yourself, you know what? I'm going to start on Monday. I'm going to go watch Jerome's live stream because I enjoy the motivation and the inspiration behind it. But, you know, this weekend was already shot. What was the point of doing anything on Saturday if I already ate on Friday? If I was just going to eat like a monster on Friday, why even put any effort into Saturday? Why even put any effort into Sunday? And this is where many of us go wrong. This is where the issues begin to happen because we are putting ourselves in this all or nothing mindset. I say this as somebody who is now 84 weeks. I was just making sure I was on the right number there. I'm 84 weeks into my journey. I'm 588 days into my journey. I have been doing this shit for a long time. This has not been 588 days of perfection. This has not been 588 days of just doing the exact same thing over and over and over. This is 84 weeks of trial and error. This is time and time again of doing a lot of good things, but also having some stumbles, having some imperfection, and being okay with it, accepting the fact that these moments will happen. It is inevitable. Life is going to happen. We're going to fuck up from time to time. But the most important part is, what are your actions? What do you do after you have a difficult time? How are you able to get yourself back up and keep moving? And for many of us, how do we find ourselves getting back on track after having a bad weekend, after going out to a birthday party or a social event or on vacation or a work trip? These are the moments that I think really define who you are as a person as you figure out how to do something sustainable, how to be consistent, how to be imperfectly consistent when it comes to a lot of this. When it comes to fasting, many of us, I'm sure many of you are in here because you perform some type of fasting regimen. When I talk about the all or nothing mindset when it comes to fasting, the way I perceive fasting is, yes, there are going to be moments when it is difficult. There are going to be moments when it is tough. But it also doesn't mean that every single moment has to be punishing. Not every time you do this. And this isn't just when it comes to fasting, it comes when you eat, it comes when you exercise. Any type of, when it comes to losing weight, you are going to have moments when you are hungry. It is inevitable. It is not something that is just going to be an easy walk in the park, because if it was, then all of us would just be doing it and it wouldn't be an issue. But it also doesn't mean that every single moment you are doing this, it doesn't mean that it has to feel like punishment every single time. And I think that's where the all or nothing mindset starts to really rear its ugly head. Because yes, many of us can accept the punishment at the very beginning. You all know it. You all know when you start off, you have a ton of motivation, and that pain that you are enduring, yeah, it'll be fine because you just started. But sure enough, day after day, week after week, month after month, there's only so much that you can accept before you're like, I'm tired of this shit. And then you find yourself on the nothing side of things, walking away from things. And instead of accepting imperfection, instead of accepting the fact that you are going to have a bad day, you decide that, nope, this wasn't good enough. Instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back 10 times harder. I'm going to come back 100 times harder. I'm going to come back 1,000 times harder. And it's that kind of thinking that will keep you in that vicious cycle. When I tell people, don't wait till Monday, don't wait till the first, don't wait till after XYZ ends, I say it because I mean it. I say it because I've been there. I say it because if you find yourself in this circle, this vicious cycle of doing it over and over and over, it is time to change and do something different. Mike Cables with a $10 super sticker. Mike, I can't see what the sticker looks like in front of me right now, but Mike, I appreciate the support as always. Mike, it's so good to see you. Thank you again for the generous donation. I appreciate you so much. Thank you so much. Hopefully everything's doing well with you, Mike. I'm sure you and I will be talking soon. So when it comes to something sustainable and keeping the weight off for good, this is the real conversation I want to have today. Yes, we can talk about losing weight, but I think you and I you and I, all of us know that taking time away from food through fasting will help you to lose weight. Eating cleaner, limiting your calories will help you lose weight. Getting exercise in, lifting weights and building muscle will help you to lose weight. All of these things are pretty cut and dry. These are things that, yes, there are different approaches to get to this place. And I think most of us, when we start, we are gung ho. We will drop 5 pounds in a couple days. Some of us might drop 10 pounds in a week. Some of us might drop even more in a month. But the real issue here is after you lose that weight, how can you make sure that you stay at that weight? How can you make sure that you can keep moving on and progressing without finding yourself gaining all that weight back, falling back into the cycle of all or nothing, or I might as well eat whatever I need to eat because you know what? I'm going to start tomorrow and I'm going to get back on track. And that 10 pounds that I lost that first week, I'm going to drop another 10. I'm going to drop another 20. When you are thinking in a very black and white type of way, you're setting yourself up for failure. And that's just the truth. I think about my journey when I lost 80 pounds in 5 months, and I was very much in an all or nothing mindset. Very much so. If I had not, during my 142 days of losing that 80 pounds, if I did not get myself out of that all or nothing cycle, I would have easily gained the weight back. Easily. If I had gone on vacation and not been accountable and not showed up and not practiced imperfect consistency, I would have gained all the weight back. Have I been perfect on my journey? No. Have I gained weight back after losing it? Yes. It's part of what happens. Did I gain all the weight back? Absolutely not. I've kept the 80 pounds off. Sometimes I'd gain 10 pounds. Sometimes I'd gain 15 pounds. But I would immediately lose the weight right after. And most of the time when I did gain 10 or 15 pounds, it was mostly water weight. That weight would find itself back down. But one of the reasons that I was able to keep the weight off, the reason that I'm able to keep the weight off today is because I show up and I am accountable with what I do. Not only that, though, one of the big reasons that I'm in the place where I'm at right now is because I continue to learn about myself. I continue to grow. I continue to use all the tools in my toolbox, right? I don't look at one thing and say, okay, that's it. That's the only answer. There's nothing else that's going to fix this. I don't need to do anything else. It's obviously learning and changing and tweaking and optimizing what works for you. Wanda with a $20 super chat. As always, Wanda, thank you so much for the support. I appreciate the generous donation as always. Wanda with the $20 donation says, woohoo, you're talking straight to my soul today. Well, I'm glad that I can. Hopefully, it's helpful in that way. More friends from out of town this weekend drank and ate to excess. And these are the moments I'm talking about exactly. As Wanda's talking about life happening. And you know what? Summer is one of those moments. Think about it. For many of us, when summer hits, that's when we're doing a ton of stuff. That's when we're going out to celebrate. The weather's nice. You want to be out. People want to go grab a drink, grab something to eat, go to a party. Many reasons, right? The harder part is, how do you make sure that you get yourself back on track after a moment like that? Wanda says it pretty succinctly here. Wanda had friends out of town, drank, ate, but look, I completed a 42-hour fast, and now I'm 8 hours into a 48-hour fast. Up 4 pounds, but I hit that timer again. And this is what it's all about. If I shared my weight scale graph, whatever you want to call it, if you look at what my journey has looked like from when I started to where it's been, right? You'll see I was at a very heavy weight at the very beginning. You'll see me drop. You'll see me gain weight and drop and gain and drop and gain. It's a part of the journey. That shit is going to happen. And what really matters is how you're able to move on from that. Wanda, again, thank you so much for the $20 super chat. I appreciate you so much. Thank you for a generous donation. Life is going to have its ups and downs. What I want to be able to teach all of you today is, as you are continuing to lose weight, whether it's through a long fast, 90 hours, 120 hours, or a shorter fast, 16 hours, 36 hours. And that's not to knock anyone who's doing shorter fasts. I'm just saying, if you are doing a short fast, a long fast, a modified fast, if you are just working on limiting your calories, if you're just working on eating better, I want to be able to share with you how the all or nothing mindset has been such a detriment to me, but has also, in a lot of ways, if it wasn't for the all or nothing mindset, I wouldn't have lost the 80 pounds in 5 months, in less than 5 months. That is something that still blows my mind today, that I was able to lose that much weight that quickly and still eat 5, 6, 7,000 calories in that amount of time. But that's from an all or nothing mindset. I was giving it my all, but there wasn't a point in time where I let that nothing part come into fruition. There wasn't a part of me that said, you know what? Today didn't work out, so I might as well just go insane and just binge and just throw my life away. So before I even get into all of those things, before I talk about a lot of this, remember, we're in a place right now where if you want to keep that weight off, I'll just give you one of the simplest things for me. One of the reasons I'm able to keep this weight off is because of accountability. Because I show up here every Sunday and I share what my progress is like, and I no longer run away. I no longer hide. I no longer keep it a secret and pretend I didn't eat X, Y, and Z, because it's really important for me to be honest. This Sunday night live stream is a place for my accountability, but it should be a place for your accountability as well. So if you think that accountability can be important for you, share with us in the chat. This is what this is for. This is a place for me to talk about my progress and vent anything I need to vent. But this is also a place for you to share what your progress is looking like for you. Just like Wanda did. Wanda shared where she was at. Wanda was very transparent about saying, hey, I had friends. We drank, we ate, but I threw myself back into a fast. And here I am on my journey, moving on. The sooner that you can put yourself in a place of, okay, I'm going to get back on a fast. Maybe I didn't eat the best, but at least I didn't binge. At least I didn't go crazy eating this. And it doesn't mean that those moments aren't going to happen, but the hope here is that those moments become less and less frequent. That the more you do this, the better you become. The more you're honest and transparent about what you're doing, the more that it no longer becomes a secret. The more that you remove that shame and that guilt. Because here's the thing, for me, when I used to have that all or nothing mindset, the amount of shame, the amount of guilt, the amount of secrecy that I would put after not fasting for as long as I wanted to fast for example, if I was trying to do a 90-hour fast and I got 23 hours in and I told myself, I can't do this, I'm just going to go eat now. And this was even when I had my YouTube channel. Before I left, when I was on the brink of leaving and then I eventually left, the shame, the guilt was so strong that I could not own up to it. I could not own up to it. Part of this place and what we're doing is to share that accountability, sharing our ups and downs. Sometimes all it takes is letting the truth out, sharing how you feel out. And sometimes even just knowing that there might be somebody in chat that's like, hey, it's okay. I've been there. I know what that's like. For me to share my issues with that, feeling ashamed, feeling guilty, to be able to share that, I feel like lets you know that you're not alone. And that's one of the big things that I always talk about here is you're not alone when it comes to this. We have been here before. We have done that before. There's no shame. There's no judgment when it comes to that. The sooner that you can own up to your shit, the sooner you can be honest and transparent about what you're doing and telling yourself, I'm not hiding. I'm not going to postpone this. I'm not going to pretend that something else happened and I'm not going to own up, or with people I work with, right? Like sometimes it's really easy to make an excuse. Sometimes it's really easy to not show up. And you know what the hard thing is showing up. For many of us, it's hard to show up and be truthful and be honest. If you want sustainability, if you want to make sure that you keep that weight off, that's a big part of it. How accountable can you be? How accountable can you be where you have a bad day, you fuck up, and instead of pretending that it never happened and then just throwing away the day, Coke Zero, everyone. Can you show up for yourself in a way that you haven't before? If you haven't, maybe that's the missing piece. You want to keep the weight off? You want to make sure that you don't cycle back into a bad place? How accountable can you be? Can you show up on a Sunday and share that you fucked up, that you had a bad day? Can you have a coaching session with me? Fill out the sheet, be honest about what your week was like, avoid pushing it for a later date, kicking the can down the road. How honest can you be? I say that with there's a lot of heart behind that. And I say that because I'm here every single week. I'm here every single week when I do well. I'm here every single week when I don't. I'm here when I'm struggling. I'm here when I'm feeling burnt out. I leave nothing off the table. Is that the term? I put everything on the table, however you want to look at it. For me, that type of accountability is a really good way to make sure that I'm not hiding anything. Because in the past, in the way I used to deal with things, it was always by hiding. It was always locking myself in my apartment, locking myself in my car so that nobody could see. I would go out with friends and family, and maybe I wouldn't eat as much because I felt a certain type of way. But the moment I got in my car, or the moment I got home, or the moment I went to the store, I would just stuff my backpack full of food, lock my door, and no one would be the wiser. That's what happened when I first left YouTube, and I kept myself in my apartment for 2+ years. I literally hid in my apartment for 2+ years. This goes way back. This goes way back to high school. I would come home from high school, I'd take the bus home, and after the bus would drop me off, I would go to the gas station across the street. I would buy a bunch of shitty food. I would stuff it in my backpack. I would lock the door in my room, and I would just eat it all. And no one knew the wiser. It was those moments, even back when I was like 15 years old, when I realized that I was ashamed. I felt guilty. I didn't want anyone to know. And that shit is a bad habit. That is a habit that has kept on for decades. And that's a habit that I am now continuing to destroy because it's a habit I no longer want to have. That is why I'm very open and honest about what I'm doing. That's why I even show you what I eat. That's why I'll show you I eat 6,000 calories without any shame, because even though people might disagree with the way I eat or how I eat or how could you eat this way? Hey, you know what? At least I'm not hiding it. This is what works for me. This is how I feel when I do it. And I move on with my life. So for many of you, that accountability, if that's important for you, please share. Also remember, this is not a time for you to say, I'm going to wait till Monday. I'm going to start after X, Y, and Z. I'm going to, enough with the excuses. There's no need. There's no need for the excuses. Everyone in here is doing the exact same thing. We are pushing for the same goals here. If your goal is to be happy, if your goal is to be happy and healthy, which can be a range of many things. I know a lot of people are in here where their goal is to lose weight. Losing weight should be accompanied by being healthy and hopefully happy as well. If that is your goal, what are you waiting for? Why are you waiting till Monday? Why are you waiting for X, Y, and Z date? Why are you waiting until after your birthday, when what you can be doing is happening right now? It doesn't mean that you have to go all or nothing. It doesn't mean that you have to go all out, fast for 7 days, eat a certain way for however long. All it means is you start putting some mindfulness in this. What I said earlier is you need to start accepting imperfection. The moment you can accept imperfection, the moment you realize that you are going to have some good days and some bad days, is the moment that you will start to find some success. The success you're going to find at the beginning by going all out, you can do it. There is nothing that would stop me from saying, if somebody said to me, Jerome, I want to fast for 7 days, go fucking fast for 7 days. Do it. Fast for 168 hours. If you're able to do it, I love that for you. But what happens when you can't? What happens when you don't? What happens afterwards? That is the real issue. You want to keep the weight off? Let's have a conversation about that. Let's talk about what you're really going to do when you don't get a fast down for as long as you thought you would. What is the real solution after that? You want to keep the weight off? Let's have a conversation about that. If you plan to fast for 168 hours and you only got through 22 hours, let's say, I said this last week, I think I said it the week before, but if you suck at fasting, well, you better get your diet in check. So for many people who are watching this right now, if you don't get your 36-hour fast in, your 65-hour fast in, your 90-hour fast in, you better have a backup plan. And that backup plan better be a combination of, okay, I will eat better. I will make sure I hit my timer. I will make sure I get some extra steps in. I will make sure I go to the gym and lift some weights and build some muscle. I'll make sure I sleep early. These are the things that you should be stacking one upon the other. These are things that are so important, because if you are that person who is thinking fasting is the only way, eating this way is the only way, exercising is the only way, All of those things are the answers. We don't have to have a conversation about the things you should be doing to lose weight. You know what you should be doing. The real question is, what do you do when you don't do those things? How do you, what is your action afterwards? That's really where it counts. Janelle, did I say that right? Janelle G with a $10 super chat. Janelle, I don't know if I've seen you on here before. Great content, sir. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. When is your app available? Well, you must know more about me. Hopefully the app will be available in 2 weeks, everyone. Just FYI. Nice glasses. Thank you so much. I've had these for a while. These are just old glasses, and I was like, oh, I haven't worn these in a while, so I put them on. John LG, though, thank you so much for the $10 super chat. I appreciate the support. That means so much to me. It really does. I appreciate that. That actually helps me pay for the app that I've put a ton of money in. So thank you so much for the support. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. So, let me go ahead and let me just, before I forget, let me share some stats with you all. So, like I said, I am 588 days into my journey. That's 84 weeks. That's over a year and a half. Has it been a perfect year and a half? No. But in the last 588 days, I have completed 243 fasts. Out of the 588 days, I haven't eaten for 345 days. That to me just sounds wild, how long I've been fasting for. But at this point, it just feels like a normal day for me. My average fast is 52 hours and 8 minutes. Doesn't mean that I've been fasting for 52 hours on end. This is a combination of shorter fasts and longer fasts, but on average around 52 hours. My average refeed around 5 hours and 40 minutes. So on average in the last year and a half, I fast for a little over 2 days on average, eat for about 5.5 hours, and then repeat that process. That number is continuing to lower and lower every time. When I first started my journey, my fasting average was around 93 hours. And then it would start to taper down because I was no longer doing 90-hour fasts. I was doing 65s. Currently, I'm averaging somewhere around 45-hour fasts. Just to give you a little more depth into that, if you look at what I was doing then versus now, in the first 5 months of my journey, I was averaging a 93-hour fast. That's short of a 4-day fast. 4.5-hour refeeds. I lost 80 pounds in 142 days. 80 pounds in 142 days, from 220 down to 140. And that was still eating 6,000 calorie refeeds, eating a ton of food and losing that weight that quickly. What the last month has looked like for me, did I not update? I shouldn't have said the last 4.5 weeks, but in the last month or so, I have been averaging a 45-hour fast. So a little shy of under 2 days. My refeeds around 2 hours and 40 minutes. I did not fill this sheet out because I forgot to put on here how much I've lost in 33 days. I left that open. Just if you haven't seen my video that I put out right before I started this stream, I have now lost 16 pounds in the last 33 days. Is it as impressive as losing 80 pounds in the first 142 days? No, but also I am at a very lean weight at this point. Losing weight at the current weight I'm in is not as easy as losing it when I was 80, 90 pounds overweight, but still losing weight. My calorie refeeds, on the days that I refeed, my last 13 refeeds, I eat about 2,500 calories, but that's only eating 2,500 calories every other day. So on average, in the last month, my calorie refeeds are about 1,200 calories a day. People might wonder and might ask and be like, well, why don't you just eat 1,200 calories a day, Jerome? And that's a good question. That's something I've asked myself as well. If I ate 1,200 calories a day, would I lose weight? Absolutely. Do I want to eat 1,200 calories a day? Not really. It doesn't sound like something that I would like to do on a regular basis. Is it something that I might do in the future? Maybe. Maybe. I'm always open to what the future looks like for me. I used to say that I don't think I could ever do OMAD because I could not control my calories. I've learned over the last month that I can indeed control my calories in a different way. I thought I would be eating 6,000 calories forever. I thought maybe at best I would eat maybe 4,500 calories and keep that in check. But in the last month, refeed after refeed, I've been proving that I can keep my calories at around 2,500, which is mind boggling to me. When I get to my goal weight of 130, I probably can do OMAD 5 days out of the week and just fast 2 days. And out of those 5 days, I could probably eat 2,800 calories for 5 days out of the week and keep my weight in check. That's kind of what I see my future looking like, with a really good balance of protein, carbs, and fats 5 days a week. In a weird way, that sounds like heaven to me. I just never thought I'd find myself in this place. But with that being said, right, like I want to make sure that we talk about, for many of you, how to continue to lose weight and how to keep it off, because I think that's the really important piece here. I want to dig into that, but before I do, I want to, how much time do we have? We have 40 minutes. Just FYI, everyone, I'm probably going to be ending this stream at around the hour mark. I'm refeeding tonight, and on my refeeds, I just really enjoy being able to eat. So I'm just going to give you a current look of where I'm at. I'm at 46 hours and 14 minutes fasted, so shy of a 2-day fast. And I didn't share current stats with you all. On my latest video, I had just put that I am at another low weight. This morning, I weighed in at 141 pounds even. I'm 11 pounds away from hitting my goal weight of 130. The weight I'm at right now at 141, I have not been here in 8 months. To me, the biggest win from this is I am at this weight not because I was doing 65-hour fasts or 90-hour fasts. That was the only way I was able to achieve that type of weight. I've been able to get to this weight now by doing 45-hour fasts, fasting for less and eating more. Why? Because I'm able to control my calories. I have been able to tap into not only the fasting lever, but my diet lever, working on the way I eat and fixing that. This is also part of how, if any of you are watching this and you are trying to find a way to make sure your weight is sustainable and you keep it off, I'm going to tell you, you have to continue working on all of your levers when it comes to weight loss. Fasting, your diet, the way you eat, the choices you make, the way you exercise, the way you sleep, and the psychological part. Can you do something sustainable and consistent that will help with your mental health? Spike with a $10 super chat. You guys with the super chats, thank you so much. Spike, thank you for the $10 super chat. Spike says, I love fasting. Some look at it like it's a prison away from what we love. I look at fasting like a privilege and like it's game day and I'm going to drop weight and better myself. Spike, I couldn't have said this better. This is the piece that I think people have a hard time understanding as well, is when I fast, on the days that I fast, and even for me, still being able to fast for an entire day or 46 hours like I am right now with a 2-day fast, or even people who fast for 16 hours or 20 hours or 168 hours. Many times we do this because, yes, we're trying to lose weight. I get it. I understand that. But on the days that I fast, and now I'm fasting for an entire day and then eating the next, but on the day like tomorrow, I'm refeeding tonight. But for example, tomorrow when I'm fasting, I don't think of it like it's torture. I don't think like I'm being punished. Tomorrow is a day that I get to take a break from food. That might sound wild to other people who are watching this, who might be new to fasting or who watches this in the future. But taking time away from food, that is a day that I get back to myself. I get time back for myself. I get time to get my work done. I get time to load up on coaching sessions, to work with people. I get time to help people. I get time to work on myself. I don't have to worry about what I'm going to eat, how much I'm going to spend. Oh, I got to go to the store. Oh, I got to make this. it's an opportunity for me to heal myself. That's the way I look at it. Not only that, but on the day, for example, when I eat tonight, I'm going to put calories in me. I'm going to have energy in the morning to lift heavy. That's the way I look at it. And tomorrow is going to be my workout day. I'm going to get my walk in. I'm going to have energy in me. I'm going to have a full day of working, doing the things I need to do, and not wasting time thinking about food and prepping and doing all of this. That's the way I look at it. That's the way that I really approach this. So this is a great way to word it, Spike. I'm glad that it's continued to give you success in what you're doing. And again, I appreciate the super chat. So thank you so much for the support. At the same time, Priceman5 with a $10 super chat as well. Priceman5, it's so nice to see you as always. Priceman5 with a $10 super chat says, hi, Jerome and Finally Fasting fam. Happy Father's Day to all the dads in the chat. And actually, well said. It's something that, my dad passed away in 2012. So it's been some time. Sometimes I don't like to think about it because for obvious reasons, but you're right. And happy Father's Day to all the dads out there. So thank you for sharing that. Got to admit that this week has been tough. The first 24 hours have been a hurdle and I've had to restart a lot. Any tips would help. Let's talk about this, Priceman 5. So when you talk about the week's been tough, my question is for you, and I mean, you can share this and I'll read it in the chat later, but like, are you just relying on fasting and fasting alone? Are you having a hard time when it comes to the eating part? Are you working on your diet lever? And it's not to say that, listen, if day 588 Jerome was talking to day 80 Jerome, and today's Jerome was like, hey, older Jerome or Jerome from day whatever, why don't you just cut your calories and eat better? My answer to that would be like, fuck off. There's no way. I can't do it. That's not how my brain works. I will not get to that point. The one thing that I realize is I knew that I wasn't in the headspace back then, but I think there was a big part of me that was not willing to admit that I didn't even want to try, because back then when I was in my all or nothing phase, there was nothing that was going to change my mind about fasting for 90 hours and eating 6,000 calories. I say this with all the respect to you, Priceman 5, is I really want you to think about, hey, if fasting is hard right now, you know that there are other levers to pull. You know that working on your diet is going to be such a huge part of it. Limiting your calories, if you can, is going to be such a huge part of it. And really, that's the question, right? Is can you get yourself to that place? And it doesn't mean that you have to eat perfectly either. Again, this is you trying to get out of the all or nothing mindset. If for whatever reason you say you break at 23 hours and you eat, can you not tell yourself, okay, I got to work on how I'm eating. I got to work on controlling my food, even if that's not what you want to do. Because what you might be doing right now is you might be stuck in a habit. If you don't fast for that long, then you find yourself in this place of now I'm going to eat everything because what's the point? It wasn't worth it. When in actuality, fasting for 23 hours, 65 hours, whatever hours, they all have their benefits. It's just how you act afterwards. It's how you pull your other levers. And of course, I can always give you all the tips in the world to fast for longer. Many of those tips are like me. When I'm fasting for past a day, I always ask myself, can I function? Can I get around? Can I live a normal life? Will I be fine? Will I die? Right? I'm going to be fine. I'm not going to die. It's just a day away from food. And I'm able to push on and do what I need to do. I sometimes drink a Coke Zero when I'm feeling like I'm about to break. Although I haven't really felt like I've been about to break in a while, but a Coke Zero is helpful for me, right? It's a hack. It's something that helps. This is a good reminder for anyone else watching this as well. Utilize your hacks. Find ways that can get you fasting for longer. Sometimes, even if it means doing a modified fast, if you need to have a little bone broth in the middle of your fast, if you need to do a fat fast where people will have butter or MCT oil in their coffee, if you want to do the sugar fast that everyone's talking about, right? Whether it's adding a couple pieces of fruit or having honey or whatever else it is that people are doing, right? Juice fasts, that's a big thing too, right? If it takes that to get through a longer fast, why not? If you are losing weight doing it, why not? You have to figure out what works. Sometimes people will be like, but Jerome, I don't want to drink a Coke Zero because blah, 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 blah. And my immediate response to anything like this or dirty fasting is, how important is it for you to lose weight? If the point of the journey right now is to just get the weight off the scale, would you rather drink a Coke Zero or break with 3,000 calories? The answer is easy to me when I was doing my 90-hour fasts or my 160-hour fasts. And I was like, oh man, maybe I should drink a Coke Zero or a Sprite Zero or a Diet Root Beer before even breaking. And sure enough, having something carbonated and fizzy or drinking a cold brew coffee or chewing on ice, which is something I used to do. I haven't done that in a minute, but right, these are things that have always helped me. So Price Man 5, you'll just have to keep us posted on what that journey looks like for you. And hopefully, right, you're able to get back into a groove with what you're doing. Dan Tana, oh my God, Dan Tana. How have I known you for years and we still have not met up yet? Dan Tana with a $10 super chat. Dan, it's so nice to see you. I appreciate you. Dan and I go way back. This is before I had another YouTube channel. If some of you only know me from my fasting channel, I used to run a tech channel before. And it's been a minute since I've been there, but that's how I know Dan. Dan, it's so nice to see you. What's up, bro? Thanks for the Father Day wishes. Oh, you're very welcome, Dan. I appreciate you being here. Thank you for jumping on. I went plant-based 3 months ago. Wow. I'm just surprised because I'm sure we've talked about food before. So that's great. And I intermittent fast. I love that, Dan. I love that for you. Hopefully your journey, your health and wellness has been better because of it. So you've been intermittently fasting a couple weeks per month. I'm not exactly sure if that's what you meant. Great results thanks to your motivation. I love that for you, Dan. Oh man, that makes me so happy to hear. Thanks, and stay boss, stay blessed. I'm not sure, but either way, I'm sure it's a compliment. Dan, thank you for the $10 super chat. It's so nice to see you. I appreciate you being here. Thank you so much. Thank you. So, Dan says, yep, I was a Five Guys addict. I mean, Five Guys is good. What can I say? So, I know we're already at 51 minutes here. I need to go ahead and just get to Fit Check. If any of you are unfamiliar with what Fit Check is, it's where I go stand back behind here and I show you what I look like physically. This is for transparency's sake. This is to stay honest. This is to let you know that whether I have a good day or a bad day, I show up here every Sunday. Part of it helps me show you all that, like, it's motivating for me to stand up here and show you what I'm like physically, because it reminds me during the week that I have to stay in check. Now, before I get to that point, I want you to all know that I have been an overweight child, my entire childhood. I have been an obese adult, teenager. I was a teenager here, in my 20s, in my 30s, and even in my 40s. I'm not a big guy height wise. I'm only 5'3", but I've weighed as heavy as 235 pounds. I have worn as big as a 38 size waist, close to a 40. I've worn XL, double XL shirts, even at 5'3". And I'm at a place now where even this shirt I'm wearing right now, listen, everyone, I have been leaning out, like seriously leaning out. I've worn this sweater before, but I haven't worn this in a while because this is a size large. This is a size large youth. Not an I remember I usually wear extra large boys clothes. This is a large youth. You don't know what a youth shirt looks like for a boys? Go to a Target or a Walmart or whatever. Go to the boys section, pick a large shirt out, and you'll see how big one actually is. So, holy shit, it's Will. Will, it's so nice to see you. 1 second, we're gonna do fit check. So again, this is a boys large, right? Fit check, side shot. These pants here, this is a boys 14 or a boys 16. So anyway, just to show you where I'm at. And you know what? I see Dan asking this question, and this question always comes up, especially during this time. So Dan's asking, do I have loose skin from the weight loss? The answer to that is yes, I do. So as far as loose skin, I do have loose skin on my lower belly. I wear a compression shirt here, just so you know. But here's the thing, right? When it comes to loose skin, most of my loose skin is on my lower belly, but you can see here that I have loose skin on my neck, which I hate. It is not the most flattering. I do not care for it. And you'll see here, right? Like it has a hard time bouncing back. Part of it is because I'm 44. Part of it might be because I used to weigh 100 pounds heavier at my heaviest. I think people forget that I have been obese, morbidly obese for 40 plus years. I used to be so much bigger than where I'm at today. Like I said, if you look at this picture, I was wearing a size 38 men's waist. 38 men's waist for someone who's 5'3". I was wearing a double XL shirt because I had to have a shirt so big that it had to go over my stomach. Some people might watch this and be like, but a double XL shirt isn't that big. Put a double XL shirt on someone as tall as me. I'm 5'3". That shirt went down to if I wore that shirt right now, it would go down to my knees. Actually, I wonder if I have my one, give me 1 second. I've shown this shirt before, and this one's just a regular extra large, right? This is an adult. This is an adult extra large. Remember, I'm wearing a large right now, adult, okay? This used to fit me. This used to fit me pretty well. I have pictures of this in my other videos, or even on my oops, this is the wrong way. Even on my Instagram page. I just want to put this on because I haven't put this on in a while, but this is just a regular extra large on someone who's 5'3". And this used to fit me really well back then when I was like 220-ish pounds. You can understand how big this is and where I've come. This is the only shirt that I've kept since then, right? So you'll understand how big this used to be on me. This is actually honestly kind of wild. It's wild to me now versus where it used to be. And let me just share, if I can maybe pull this up, right? Give me 1 second, everyone. So as I'm wearing this shirt, I'm going to see if I can pull up. Oops, sorry, everyone. Just give me 1 second. I need to find the post, if I can find the post. Okay, so let me see if I can. Okay, let me share this really quick because this will be a good um I need to share the audio. Hopefully I pressed the right thing here. That is not what I wanted to share. So this is me wearing that same shirt right here. Okay. Um and back then it fit fine, right? It fit fine. And again, this is what it looks like right now on me. So a big ass shirt. Okay. So but yes, I have loose skin. I have loose skin on my neck. Um I have loose skin on my lower stomach, my upper arms, my inner thighs. So yeah. Do I count carbs? I don't count carbs, Martha. I do count my protein and I do count calories at this point. I am starting to maybe be a little more mindful about my macro splits, but I'm not there just yet. Spike. I have a lot that I wanted to talk about, but I'm already running out of time here. So, you know what? Here's the thing. When it comes to oh, it looks like I'm lagging. Hopefully I'm okay. When it comes to losing weight and keeping it off, I just have a couple notes that I want to put on here, right? You have to get yourself out of the all or nothing mindset. You have to accept imperfection. These are the big things. Once you can accept imperfection and stop cycling and telling yourself, now I'm going to eat everything versus just saying, hey, I had a fucked up day. I overate, but I'm not going to go crazy. I'm still going to put some mindfulness into it. I'm not going to start over. I'm not going to wait till Monday. I'm not going to wait till the first. I'm not going to wait till the end of my birthday. I'm not going to wait until I'm X years old. I'm not going to wait until after vacation. The moment that you can accept imperfection and just be okay with living your life like a normal fucking person is the moment you will find success in what you're doing. Some of the other notes I put on here is you have to think about some of the reasons that you are falling into this trap. Is it because you are getting burnt out? Is it because of the all or nothing mindset? Is it because your habits have not gotten better? And a lot of what we're doing, a lot of what we're talking about is how to build better habits, how to get out of your old broken habits and how to continue building new ones. One of the things that has been important for me, and I'm not saying everyone has to do this, but I'm at this place now where I'm 141 pounds. I'm trying to get down to 130, and I'm really trying to dial the shit in. I had a DEXA scan done back in November. I want to get a new DEXA scan done to see how much extra fat I still have on me, but I'm really trying to dial things in. And that's why I'm starting to track calories and count macros in that way. When I say count macros, I'm just paying attention to my protein right now. I'm trying to make sure that my calories aren't crazy and that my protein is at around 125 grams per refeed. Does it mean I'll never eat 6,000 calories again? Of course not. I'm going to have those days. I'm going to have days where I'll eat 8,000 calories, right? I'll eat everyone under the table. I know I can because I've done it before. But those are those days where it's every once in a while. They're not going to be every time. When it comes to tracking calories and tracking macros, I'm not going to do it every time either. I've started to realize the more I do this, the more I can just eyeball things. The more I also realize that I could eat a pound of Brussels sprouts or 3 pounds of Brussels sprouts, and it doesn't matter because the calories are really negligible. I could eat a pound of carrots or 3 pounds of carrots, but it's not going to matter because those numbers are negligible. But if I'm going to eat if I'm going to eat an ultra processed brownie, I better make sure I track that because I know I'm going to go insane if I just go nuts on that. I got to make sure that if I'm eating something like cashews, like I normally do, I can't eat the entire tin or a peanut butter jar because I'm going to go nuts when it comes to that. It's common sense. Yeah, you might not have to track an orange or a banana, but if you're going to be eating fucking McDonald's and right, like that's something that you might be more mindful about, especially if you're not fasting like I'm fasting for 90 hours like I used to. The reason I didn't count calories before is because I fasted for so long, it didn't matter. it pushed the weight on the scale down. And if that works for you, continue to do that. But when you can't, and if you don't, then you have to get the diet part in check. Andre with a $10 super chat. Andre, thank you so much for the support. I appreciate you. Andre, it's so nice to see you as always. Andre with the $10 super chat says, J-Man, that shirt is a super testament to your focus and dedication. I appreciate that. I keep that as a reminder at this point. You have really come a long way. We're all proud of you. Andre, thank you for the support. I appreciate you. Thank you for the kind words. It means so much to me. Thank you. Thank you. I know you meant to say truly. No worries, Andre. No worries. A couple other things before I get into Q&A here. So just a couple things when it comes to making sure that you can keep the weight off or learning how to keep the weight off. If you are triggered, if you have triggers when it comes to overeating, maybe that's caused by the all or nothing. Maybe it's caused by the burnout. But sometimes many of us, we get triggered and we don't deal with it. If it's an emotional trigger, if somebody pisses us off during the day, if you're having a bad day at work, if you don't recognize those triggers and you don't do something about it, you have to make that next step. You have to figure out what's next. You have to realize that your health and happiness shouldn't be solved with eating shitty food just because. It doesn't mean that it won't happen. You're going to have bad days like that. I'm going to have bad days like that. But it cannot be the answer every single time. That's all I'm saying when it comes to that. Let's kind of leave it at that point because I really should have already signed off of here a couple minutes ago, but I want to take Q&A. So if you have questions, I want you to ask them now. I will answer as much as I can. In the meantime, while you ask questions and while I'm waiting for questions to come in, if you are looking for help when it comes to weight loss or fasting, or if you're even just looking for an accountability partner or an accountability coach, you can go to finallyfasting.com. You can book a one-on-one session with me. You will be talking to me exactly like we're doing right now. We'll be talking one-on-one. We'll put a plan together. We'll put a strategy together. If you need help when it comes to accountability, that's what I'm here for. Please feel free to check it out. At the same time, if you do go to the Finally Fasting website, you will find merch on there if you want to support me in that way. Why can I not find my other piece of merch here? I do have stickers if that's something that might be of interest to you. These stickers, I use them myself. They're on my notebooks, right? I also do have hats. Again, I know this is a shameless plug, but if you are looking for merch, I do have hats. One's a Sox colored one. One's a Cubs colored one. They're snapback hats. They have Finally Fasting. And then they're colored in the back too. Cubs and Sox. So feel free to check that out. Also, at the same time, if you are looking for accountability, if you want to support me in a different type of way, in the description of this live stream, you can be part of the Finally Fasting fam. There is a membership that you can join. There are 2 different tiers. If you join the higher tier, I hold a Wednesday night live stream every Wednesday night. We hold each other accountable. It's a smaller group, but it's pretty much a coaching session as a group. And we have a spreadsheet where we share our goals. Everyone has different individual goals, but we go through them. We support each other. We help each other. If that's something that might be of interest to you, please feel free to check that out as well. So thank you again for giving me a couple minutes here to share that. So Dan does ask, how's your workout routine? My workout routine is pretty simple. For the most part, cardio-wise, it's just 90% walking. I'll walk anywhere between 10,000, 12,000, sometimes 15,000 steps a day. That's how my workout routine is. When it comes to lifting weights, I pretty much lift weights now every other day. So when I eat at night, for example, I'm eating tonight, Sunday, and then I'll eat again, or I'll work out on Monday. I lift weights. My weightlifting routine is pretty simple. It's mostly compound exercises. So deadlift, bench press, squat. I'll do overhead press. I do a mix of machines and free weights, progressive overload. So right now I'm being a lot more diligent about tracking my numbers because my main focus right now, and just for anybody who's watching this, my main focus right now is to just lose excess body fat and build muscle. I really want to get leaned out. I know what's going to happen as I continue to lose more weight. I think as I get closer to 130 pounds, maybe even less than that, I think the loose skin is really going to start showing itself. And I think at the point that I get very, very lean, I'll probably do a video and share with you all what the loose skin looks like so people can see how bad it is. But I think that's just going to be the nature of how this works. Some people might watch this and be like, but Jerome, you look good at 140 pounds. And I'm pretty happy with where I'm at weight wise, but at the same time, I know I have extra fat to lose. When I had my DEXA scan done, it showed that most of my remaining fat was in my abdomen area, which I guess makes a lot of sense for most people. That's the last place that it goes. And I'm very driven right now to lose that last amount of fat. And I want to be able to do it without, like I tell people all the time, I'm not on any meds. I've never had surgery. I'm not on any type of GLP-1, right? And again, this isn't to knock anyone who's doing that. I want people to find what works for them, but I want to be able to see if I can get to a very fit weight. Listen, as somebody who's been morbidly obese their entire lives, to find myself at a different place would be such a huge win for me. So that's kind of my goal moving forward with that. Carlo. Hi, Carlo. Nice to see you. Carlo says, aloha. Any advice moving from rolling 48s to a first time going to 72s? Yes, Carlo, my advice for you is don't beat yourself up if a 72 doesn't happen. And here's what I mean by that. This isn't to say that I'm discouraging you from doing a 72. In fact, my hope is you can do it happily and healthily. If you want to push a 72, push a 72. But I want you to also understand that if a 72 doesn't happen and it's a 65 or it's a 58, that you will break, you will refeed properly, and you will move on with your life and push another 72. My only other piece of advice here is continue to work on building your fasting muscle. If you're not able to push that long, mark it down, hit your timer, be mindful about what you're doing and be like, okay, I got to 53 this time. That's great. Try again, push again, right? This also means, I think this is really important to share with people. I want you to understand that just because you do a 48 right now doesn't mean that every single one has to be a 48 from here until the end of eternity. It doesn't mean that 48 has to now be 49, has to now be 50, has to now be 60, has to now be 72. I think a big trap that a lot of us find ourselves in is every fast has to be harder and more progressive, when I really think it's important for many of us to find ourselves in a place where we can give ourselves grace, meaning that, hey, maybe after trying to attempt a 72 and getting a couple 60s or even a 72 under your belt, doesn't mean that you can't give yourself a couple days now of OMAD and learn how to work on eating better. Learn how to control limiting your calories. Learn how to make sure that if you fast for less and eat more calories, you can go to the gym and lift heavy as fuck, right? Or run a mile and work on your cardio, work on your heart health. I want people to understand the importance of being able to be flexible with what you're doing. So, Carlo, hopefully that was helpful in that type of way. If anything, I would think about what your hacks are as well. For me, drinking a carbonated drink like a Coke Zero can help me push a longer fast. Drinking a cold brew in the morning or an iced coffee helps me to push a longer fast. Drinking an unsweetened iced tea helps me to push a longer fast. Think of the things that can help you get further along your journey. And again, this is also where something like a modified fast can be helpful. If doing a modified fast, keeping yourself at still a huge caloric deficit can be helpful, do it, right? It doesn't mean you have to stay that way forever. It doesn't mean that now you have to drink a Coke Zero for the rest of your life during a long fast. All it means is you have a goal right now of getting the weight down. I have a goal right now of getting the weight down to 130 and building muscle. I'm going to take advantage of any kind of hack I can. Just like when I talk about Carlo, I just read about your imitation crab. You must have watched some of my refeeds. I do love that, and it's been a minute since I've had it. I forgot what I was saying at this point, but I think you get the gist of what I'm saying. Everyone, at this point, just before we sign off here, just a couple things before I go. Number one, I want you to remember it's always important to value yourself. The weight on the scale is something that is such a mind fuck for many of us. We look at the scale, it becomes a detriment. We end up doing things that we shouldn't be doing because we don't like what the number says on the scale. I'm here to remind you that the scale is only a number. It is only to help you guide and figure out what's next. Easier said than done, right? I'm also that person that looks at the number on the scale and it can really mess with my head, but it doesn't change what I'm doing when it comes to working on myself. Do not let the scale mess with your head. Do not let the number on the scale also devalue you as a human being. Remember to continue to respect yourself, accept yourself, and love yourself for who you are today. I really think it's important that you keep that in mind, because whatever weight you're at now, if you think you're at the best weight ever, or you're struggling at the weight you're at, you never know where that number is going to swing. You never know what life is going to hand you down the road. I think it's really important that you understand that you are still just as valued at whatever number you are on the scale. Did I say that right? Hopefully I did. At the same time, I just want to share this like I always do. You are not alone when it comes to your journey. I'm currently 46 hours and 49 minutes fasted. Yes, I will be breaking tonight, but I say this to let you know that you are not alone on your journey in what you're doing. And if the comments in the section, in the chat, if you look at the comments in any of the videos is any indication, it's just to remind you that you're not alone. We're all striving for the same thing here, which is to be happy and healthy. These are the things that are super important. I want you to know that you're not alone when it comes to this. I've been doing this shit for a long time now. I have not left your side. Have I? I'm pretty sure I haven't. I have a lot of live streams and videos to back that up. One final thing. I'm going to Toronto next week. I'm going to be in Canada next week, and one of those days is going to fall on a Sunday. I'm leaving for Toronto, I think, on Friday. And what I might do is I might hold a live stream Thursday, or maybe I'll do it maybe on a Friday morning. I don't know when that live stream is going to be, but I want to hold maybe one live stream since I won't be able to do it on a Sunday. I thought about not doing a Sunday live stream at all, but you know what? I haven't done an afternoon live stream in a while, or a morning live stream in a while. So maybe it's worth a shot to see if it's something that some of you could pop in on. And if anything, it'll just give you some content to watch while I'm gone for a couple of days. This vacation I'm going on, when I'm going to be gone for a couple of days, is going to be a little... My hope is I can control my calories then. I'll be documenting it, so we'll see what that looks like. Okay, I think that's all I have. So remember, there's going to be no Sunday night live stream next Sunday. There might be one on a Friday. There might be one on a Thursday. If I make a decision, I'll maybe just post it early so you all know that it's coming, and then we can kind of go from there. Otherwise, after that, we'll be back. Oh, actually, I think the following Sunday, I have a graduation party to go to, and I don't think I'm going to be in the area then too. We will figure it out, everyone. Like I said, I'm not leaving you. I'm still going to be posting content, so we'll just figure out what the next couple weeks look like. See, when summer hits, there's just a lot of shit happening. So with all that being said, I want to thank everybody for stopping by today. Thank you so much for the support. Thank you for all the donations. It means so much to me. It helps me out. Thank you for all my Finally Fasting fam members. Thank you for being part of that. I appreciate you. I will see you on Wednesday for people who are in the autophagy group. And I think that's all I got. So I'm going to do this wave thing that I do every week, and we'll do this soon. All right, everyone, take care.